text of the resolution, and he gets the violation, and he's not defending the text of the resolution because he's not showing why juvenile charge not telling exactly the same as adults. And he can set standard. First standard is that the resolution isn't phrased as a policy question, rather it's phrased normatively, meaning that it asks whether or not an obligation exists to do X, which is question 2, textual strong controlling fairness, and grammar syntax of resolution is the only way to determine whether or not an argument affirms to negate. Second, and then number 2 is that the testing provides for reciprocal burdens, that the negative burden is conference of the adverb reciprocal burden also goes for the standards primary concern for fairness, that both the that equal threshold tax is valid. Then you can set the voter. Fairness is the voter because debate is competitive activity that debate is competitive activity that utilizes the adversarial system and pursuit of truth and falsity resolution of their practices, truth or ability to arrive at truth and such truth so the valid must function back as abuse for allowance. His answers, his first one says that I hate my argument because he's talking because he's like the Honda-Wong analysis. The one he has to be actually like doing work that explains why you guys are biased. Like that's obviously not true. But then second, I would say doesn't even turn back my argument because he's not explaining why that's violating fairness and why that's preventing us from having an adversarial approach to the ballot. Remember, my theory voter is very specific. It is talking about what happens in terms of the round. So that means that insofar as you only talk about an outer round impact, not talking about an in-round impact, my argument is explicitly appealing to the adversarial nature of the round. His argument doesn't answer my argument. Second argument says that the attorney if he is forced to debate the topic, then that means that we're going to be ignoring all the outer round impacts. But that is not true. If we're looking at the theory argument first, that means we can also determine whether or not these outer round impacts are important. But a lot more insofar as he can also just like run other racism positions on the app, and then they talk about how the people are minus scenario, but tying that into the adult justice system, which is like a really good argument considering how like the adult justice system is certainly one of those toxic environments. He could have been running those arguments, so he could have been running these arguments anyway, so I'm not forcing that debate. That means easiest place for you to vote is going to be theory. This is going to be a game over issue. Then, let's go to his answers to skepticism. His first answer to skepticism that philosophy promotes a white male dominance. Remember, if I'm winning skepticism, then none of those arguments matter because he's not providing any sort of implications of dominance. That means because if I win the skepticism framework, it precludes 100% of the ad framework. Then you can extend, so that means you can extend the, then his number 2 argument says that I'm not being reciprocal because no turn ground. One, his argument was like just a completely blipped out after the timer went off, and then 2, his turn ground is on international law. Remember, he doesn't extend international law, so I don't have to go for it. So that extends the reason on permissibility first. This is because a lot of Congress having the resolution not to have an obligation to juvenile adults. This includes an obligation to do differently as well as an absence of an obligation. That extends the Collier 1, justifying skepticism. It things are articulated in rules are behavioral adaptations that were created morality, hence cosmology, indicates some rise in evolutionary mechanisms, because about moral obligation really actions, responses that emerge from environmental factors and possible big moral claims that could be in the naturalistic fallacy. Then you can say Collier 2. Transcendent morality is therefore possible to account for moral rules that base them on a naturalistic fallacy. So that means that skepticism is true. So this has a bunch of implications. One, I would say skepticism comes before fairness because insofar as theory is just some sort of implicit appeal to ethics and call it valid. If I'm winning skepticism, that means I'm going to be winning the highest layer of the flow. But what's more is also precluding 100% of Jalon's arguments. The AC goes away. Permissibility, it's a very easy place for you to sign your ballot. But if you want to vote for permissibility, you're going to be voting down on textuality. Now let's go to the AC. Okay. He first tries to extend the Torres analysis, then he tries to extend the Reed analysis, then he tries to extend the Macintosh analysis. But the extension of the Torres analysis, the reason he said that there is an impact is because he's giving a minor scenario metaphor. The problem is that a metaphor is not a warrant. Even if he's giving a metaphor, there's no reason why that is actually giving the judge an obligation to sign the ballot. Nowhere in his last speech did he even explain why this is like the role of the ballot. He only extended all these arguments and he says that, and just says that if you sign your ballot for Jalon, then it's going to be moving us away from the minor scenario. But he doesn't explain why you have a normative obligation to do that. But what's more, skepticism is explicitly answering back this argument. So that means that Jalon is simply not doing enough work on his framework. He did not explain why it's the role of the ballot in the last speech. Don't let him do the next speech. Then you can extend my minor scenario of this procedural problem argument that says that I've been through a lot of harassment myself, and insofar as like in my own school I've had to face a lot of anti-Semitism. So this has 2 implications. One, that I am at the very least going to be winning terminal defense on his own framework because procedural problems, including the whole minor canary scenario, cannot resolve any sort of ethical conflict. But then 2, his answer to this is like really damning for him because he says that my minor canary scenario is irrelevant. This is really problematic for Jalon because he is straight up silencing me. Listen, if you're going to be voting on these discursive impacts, you guys should be morally offended at this point. You should obviously not morally offended because of skepticism, but you should be offended too because Jalon is silencing my minor canary scenario. This is a very obvious implication of where like Jalon tried to silence me and he's doing the same things the debate community did to him. This is a very easy, obvious performative contradiction vote right there. But then, so that means he's certainly not winning off the framework. Then, let's go to his extensions. He tries to extend the Honda-Wong analysis, then he tries to, then we can extend my own narrative that I read in my last speech. My own narrative was talking about a lot of the positive impacts I had about the debate community. One of the positive impacts is that helped me get into college. Another positive impact is that I had a lot of people. For example, my scars group. When I met these people, they supported me and they gave me a lot of encouragement. This is really important because it shows that while the debate community has had a lot of bad things, it's also had a lot of beneficial things. So that means that the debate community itself is not this demonized entity, so there's no reason to, the very least there's going to be like 2 competing narratives and you have no way to weigh between the 2 sides. At least they're really defensive, or B, you're going to be preferring my narrative because it talks about the benefits of the debate community. So then we're going to be looking to all the turns that Jalon just drops. Okay. Sorry, before we go there, we're going to be looking to the reasons why the criterion must come first. Remember, this is the second part of the overview. You can extend the number one argument that says that otherwise, if we don't look at the criterion, then you just have change between balance is going to be increasing racism. He concedes his argument. This is really crucial because if he is not winning on the criterion debate, and I am way ahead on the framework debate, then that's going to be an independent reason to reject the entirety of the AC because remember, the criterion comes first. This argument's conceded. But then if you don't believe that, you can also extend the number two argument that the number four argument that says that if we're not looking at the criterion, it pulls debate out of the hands of debaters. This is really problematic for his own argument because he is talking about discourse. We're pulling debate out of the hands of debaters, and that means we're going to be destroying any sort of discourse. Now let's go to the turns. You can, he tries debating an overview that says like it's not responsive. Remember, he's fine. He can take up my first two turns. You can extend the number three because he is ignoring culpability. This is really problematic. If he is ignoring culpability, that means that he is going to be punishing me arbitrarily. If anything, this shows trivializes his position and indicating why he's being racist, racist, or he's demonizing me himself. Then you can extend the number four argument that says that people are going to crap him out. They're not going to care about his arguments. This is really problematic because that means that he's not going to be able to make a discursive shit. Then you can extend the number five that he's masking racism by labeling everyone a racist. This is going to be most damning because it's also a solvency take on Jalon. If he's labeling everyone a racist and saying vote everyone down because they're all responsible for racism, then that means that like we can't label racism. And finally, he is demonizing Christian charges. The fact that he's doing that indicates that he's doing to everyone else what they did to him. That's going to be a really important voting issue, and that's a huge turn.
All right, 136 for me. Starting now.